Today on Us Weekly's reality recap, Kyle Cooke sets the record straight about his friendship with Carl.
I can respect the fact that, hosting events where the only thing we're serving is booze is not, potentially a long-term, role.
Plus, we're breaking down the premiere of Summer House, from Maya and Lindsay's feud to what we really think about the new housemates. And the latest on Vanderpump Rules, including that awkward date between Raquel and Beador. Got that plus so much more on today's reality recap. Hey guys, Christina Garvaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy DeCamp, and welcome to Reality Recap. Summer House is back, our second episode of Vanderpump. I'm so excited.
I'm excited. These are two of my favorite Bravo shows, so it's a good season for Bravo.
Definitely. All right, before we get into our recaps, let's see what you guys have to say about last week's show. Esther says Katie wasn't hurt. She's mad and jealous, plus she hates that she can't control Tom anymore. Oof.
Yeah. I mean, I had a very good question when I was watching Vanderpump this week, and I don't know if we have the answer. Did Katie and Tom have a prenup? And does she get part of the profit for Schwartz and Sandy, since it almost broke up their marriage? We got to ask them when we talk.
That is a very interesting question. I feel like they have said at some point whether or not they have one, but that is a very good point.
Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of it for you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Allison said Randall loves pickleball because it's what old people play over at the senior center. LOL. I mean, so right. He's a
true. Very, very true. Well, we got a lot to talk about Randall going forward.
Oh, yeah.
But so before we get into Vanderpump, let's break down Summer House. So we got some new housemates this time around, starting with Chris. He's a former Marine, grew up in Naples, came to New York to pursue photography. What did you make of Chris?
So in the beginning of the episode, I thought he was a little bit on the boring side. I was like, not so sure. And then once he started loosening up and dancing at the party, I was kind of into him.
I was kind of into him too. I was like thinking, I'm like, oh my God, is he going to be like a repeat of, I think his name was Alex from last year, who we totally forgot about. Yeah. But no, I kind of like him. I think he's a little refreshing. I do agree. I'm like, why are there so little guys this season?
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping to have some more single people in the mix rather than watching just the married couples. But I do like Chris, and he had some fun friends, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I almost want, it almost feels like they're transitioning to see how people like the younger cast, to see if maybe the married people need to retire at this point. Yeah, I guess we'll see. So that brings me to Sam, who's only 25 years old, which I just couldn't get over the age gap between Sam, who's 25, Kyle, who's 40. I mean, would these two actually share a summer house together in real life? No.
Definitely not. No, it's so true. And even like Carl, he's 38, like Lindsay's 30. It's just, you're in two totally different phases of your life.
Yeah, it seems a little bit of a stretch to me, but like I said, I feel like Bravo might be trying to test the viewers, see how they like these new people. Maybe they'll transition totally next season.
Right.
But a little bit more about Sam. She gets 10,000 steps in a day before 10 a.m., but then stays at the club until 3 a.m. And she works at Cosmo magazine. So very interesting.
When is she sleeping? I guess at 25, I probably didn't sleep much either and could just wake up and do my whole and just go with it. So good for her. I mean, I think she's friends with Amanda. Yeah. So, we'll see. It seems like based on teasers going forward, we know that Corey from Winter House does come, and maybe they have a little bit of a love connection. Totally seems like her type, his type after Winter House. But I don't know, like we said, we'll have to wait and see. And then we have Gabby, who's a fashion editor. She's single, ready to mingle, looking for a compatible astrological sign. What did we think of Gabby?
Whenever anyone mentions astrology, they lose me a little bit. I feel like whenever people are like, oh, what's Jeffrey's sign, my husband, I'm always like, I don't know. I have no idea what his sign is, truly.
No, and it's not even the sign. It's like the moon sign and then the birth sign. It's like all these different signs that I can't figure it out. And I'm like, should I know this about myself?
Whenever someone's like, I know my own sign and I know things that I do are maybe like a Sagittarius, but I'm just not. This is not for me, but she seems otherwise.
She seems lovely. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But things got pretty dramatic right ooff the bat, right?
Right. There was definitely a feud between Maya, who confronted Carl about Lindsay's boundaries that she had set. So apparently, off season, I guess you would call it, Maya, they were all in California for Family Feud, a taping of Family Feud. And Maya texted something to Carl along the lines of, do you want to smoke a J? And Lindsay thought that was kind of overstepping and that you know, it was a little too close for comfort for her. I don't know. What do you think? Was that too close? Would you be okay with your husband doing or getting a text like that?
Probably not. I mean, just like because of like his sober background, I mean, maybe not, like maybe that's not the way to go about it. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what bothered her. So yeah, I mean, maybe Lindsay was a little put off because, you know, Carl is like trying to live this sober lifestyle and maybe she thought that was a bad influence. You know, when we talked to her, which we'll get to a little bit later on, she did say that, you know, she didn't really feel like there was anything romantic going on between them since Maya had a boyfriend, but it just seems like a little out of the blue. Like, why are you texting Carl just to hang out with him and not wanting to hang out with both of us?
Right. I would do a group text if I was going to do that. You know what I mean? Text both of them and ask if you want to come smoke a J or whatever. Then I think it's fine. When you text the guy alone, that becomes a little dicey for me.
Yeah. And he thought it was a little weird too. Yeah. And, you know, I did feel bad for her though when they were like having that conversation because it seems like she really does care about the friendship, and she was like, she's like, I didn't mean anything malicious by this. I just wanted to hang out with my friend.
Well, it also brings up the age gap again. Yeah, you know, Lindsay and Carl are just in a different stage of their lives now. They're engaged. They're probably like acting like a married couple, and that's very different than when you're in your 20s and you have friends that you text casually, guys, girls, you know, you don't, like, I personally don't text guys casually anymore. You know what I mean?
I don't either, but maybe when I was like 25, I did. I probably did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's actually see what Carl and Lindsay had to say about the whole Maya situation. Here they go. We kick off with some tension before we even went into the house with you and Maya. So what was it about that text that rubbed you the wrong way? And, you know, did you feel like you spoke to her in a way that was, like she said, not human?
No, like not at all. That was just not at all what happened. We were in the back of a car finishing Family Feud, and on the way back to our hotel, it was like a 5 to 7 minute drive. It was a really short drive. She mentioned that she texted Carl to hang out. I then was like, you know, well, you know, do you think that maybe you should have like talked to me? Like, I'm sitting right in front of you and you're telling me you're texting Carl to go hang out with you. It's like like we're all here together. It's a little strange. And then I had brought up something that she had said to me a month before that had rubbed me the wrong way. And so it was just a very like adult, normal, calm conversation. I was 4 months sober, had not drank anything for 4 months. It's the middle of a day on a weekday. And like, there was just, I did not raise my voice. I asked a lot of questions. Maybe her experience was that she felt uncomfortable because I called something out where I'm setting boundaries for myself and in my relationship. I think my directness catches people off guard, and that can make people uncomfortable if they're not prepared for it. So maybe that's what happened. But no, I did not raise my voice at all. I'm actually have a higher tone, you know, right now. And I don't know, I just did not expect like me having a, you know, calm adult conversation would ever turn into some exaggerated, blown up, you know, story that is just so out of proportion to what happened.
Carl, did you question the text when you got it all? Did you think it was a little?
I thought it was weird for sure. I mean, I didn't actually respond. I waited because I was in a separate car leaving Family Feud with Andrea and Alex, and I was driving back, and I got the text, and I was like, "This is a little weird." Like she's in the car with Lindsay right now, like
texting him to hang out. It was not like all of us.
It was a little weird, but. You know, I bonded with Maya the previous summer. We had a friendship. We still do. But, I mean, we would text here and there, but we didn't, like, hang out, like, outside of the house unless it was with other people. Like, we had 2 different group outings in the fall last year that, yeah, we were friendly. We would text here and there. But, you know, it was just a weird situation. I felt like, you know, Lindsay obviously has my best interest in trying to communicate, and I appreciate that. And, you know, I like she said, I mean, Maya was very supportive of us towards the end of the summer in some situations, which really meant a lot. And I think that brought us, you know, closer. And, you know, we love Maya. You know, I think it was just kind of an awkward moment.
Well, based on what they had to say, it seems like they all make up and they kind of move on pretty quickly from this. So that's good to know.
Not a big deal. Yeah.
Not a big deal. But Carl and Kyle, on the other hand, probably not moving on too quickly, right?
No. So we see that they have tension. They're avoiding each other in the leading up to the house. We recently found out in real time that Carl has since left Loverboy. Did you see this coming?
I don't know. Not after last summer. I mean, we saw him officiate Kyle and Amanda's wedding. It seems like everything was really on point. And I mean, when we spoke to Kyle, it seemed like he's kind of putting a lot of the blame on Lindsay, that Lindsay kind of got into Carl's ear and saying that he was underappreciated. Carl's lifestyle is completely different than it was a couple of years ago. He's out there promoting a drink when he's sober and, it doesn't really fit into his lifestyle anymore. And it seems like the business split was amicable, but it seems like, I feel like there's still a lot of tension there.
I do too. I think there's a ton of tension. I mean, I agree though. Like, how are you going to work at an alcohol company, go to parties to promote it and be sober? It's just totally conflicting. But at the same time, people go to these events because they want to see the Bravo celebrities. They don't necessarily,
Yeah.
In the meantime, Loverboy's getting promoted. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess I see that he was the face of the brand, but it also just was a conflict of interest.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And it seems like this kind of went on for quite some time. When, I spoke to Kyle, he said he pretty much paid him a year's salary while Carl was still figuring out what he wanted to do with the company. So this has been dragging on for quite some time, and hopefully they can get their friendship back on track because, that's where it all started from.
And you spoke with Kyle this week about this. So let's take a look at that.
What was that final conversation like when he told you that he was leaving? Is that how it happened? Or did you kind of present it to him that maybe it's time for you to go?
I mean, it was a long time in the making. It was in November, right? And it was after many, many months of him, not really focusing on work. So it wasn't like a Band-Aid was ripped off. To answer your previous question, did the company feel the impact? Him being checked out was actually brought to my attention by other employees. This wasn't something like me and Amanda, observed. I was almost purposely or subconsciously almost turning a blind eye to it. Sorry. And so I answered your last question. What was what was your most previous question?
Was he fired?
Oh, no. I mean, He gave me plenty of opportunities to fire him. He resigned in good graces. And so, like I said, it was kind of a long time coming.
Right. I mean, Amanda said that she kind of had a feeling that he was going to leave once he got sober. Did you feel that as well? Or do you feel like this was maybe Lindsay getting in his ear a little bit?
I think it was all the above. I think that when he first started, he was, one of our first hires, right? We're now over 20 people. He's technically the first one to leave. And so, his role had already kind of started to change. Like the last time he was in a true sales role was actually 2020. So, I think what Amanda's kind of alluding to is he kind of naturally evolved his role into this, support role where he's throwing these events, sometimes with me, sometimes without me.
Right.
And it was only a matter of time where he's like, if my time here is spent basically intermingling with, fans that are drinking and I'm sober, that's going to wear me down.
All right. Well, let's move on to our quote of the night. Who got your quote?
Oh, Kyle, he's back. Fun Kyle is definitely back. So he was referencing his housemates who were all getting up at 7 a.m., going to bed early so that they could get up at 7 a.m. to go to Barry's boot camp. So he said, if this is a new normal, I'm going to jump out my window.
I agree with him. I mean, it was so uncomfortable. And Kyle, even when I spoke to him in our interview, he's like, go to the Barry's boot camp Monday through Friday. You're at the Hamptons just for the weekend. Like, you don't need to get up at 7:00 in the morning. We're here to have a good time. And I totally agree.
Yeah, I totally agree with Kyle.
I went to Paige. She said, it's my own fault. I did say, tell me everything. She didn't have to start at the moment of her conception, talking about the new housemate, Sam, who literally told her entire life story.
I feel like Sam was very nervous in that moment because she also started it by saying, like, I love Cosmo, but didn't say that she worked at Cosmo until later in the story. So I feel like she was just very nervous. It was her first scene probably. So I felt for Sam a little bit.
I did too. All right. Well, let's head on over to Vanderpump. This week we're episode 2. What are your thoughts on, Raquel breaking down about the pageant? I felt like this went a little deeper than the pageant, but I was like, I was like, oh no, girl, this is not good.
This was one of my recent favorite reality TV show scenes. Raquel on a date with Peter, who she clearly doesn't want to be on a date with. It's like their third date or something. And she just starts breaking down in tears because, first of all, I didn't know Raquel did pageants.
I didn't either. Yeah. I had no idea. I mean, I'm sure she brought it up back in the day. I knew she modeled a little bit, but I didn't realize that she was like a pageant queen.
Me neither. So she was trying out for Miss California. I guess she's above the age limit now due to Donald Trump's rules. I thought this was hysterical. I know it's mean to say that, but it was so funny that she was breaking down. But I mean, I think the real reason she was breaking down is because of James, and she's not ready to really date and put herself out there again. And she doesn't like Peter.
No, she doesn't like Peter. She's like, oh, and I loved how she said, I think she was with Ariana and Chyna. And she's like, I've gone on 3 dates with Peter, and every time I cried. It's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah, no, this is, I feel like, she's like, I don't know where I am in my life. This is the first time I'm financially independent because James paid for everything. So I think she's just figuring out a lot of things, figuring it out on camera. And unfortunately, Peter was in the crossfires, I guess.
Yeah. She's like a lost little puppy.
Yeah, but they did break up.
Yeah.
It's over.
All right. So Lala and Lisa Vanderpump met, which was interesting. I love seeing Lisa Vanderpump back on our screens.
Yes.
And she gave Lala a little bit of a hard time because she said, how did you not see this coming with Randall? Did you really not know any of this was going on? And Lala stood by the fact that she really didn't know it was happening.
I mean, she really didn't. I mean, it's got to be, I know so many people are probably downing her and being like, how could she not know? And I feel like she got so defensive about it too, because I feel like probably in the back of her mind, she was like, this doesn't add up. This isn't making sense. Yeah. I mean, or he's just like a complete stranger and he should win an Oscar for Best Actor going forward because I don't know how he pulled that one off.
I know. I mean, I think he's just horrible. I mean, there's lots of rumors right now that he's engaged. He's denied them.
Right.
I don't know. I don't believe anything that comes out of that guy's mouth anymore. And
seriously,
I feel for her,
I do. I feel for her. You feel so bad that there's a little baby involved in all this. And, he's
you don't want to look at that baby in a negative light ever. And I'm sure she would never do that. But she's going to grow up and see all these stories surrounding, the year and a half after she was born. And it's sad.
Right. No, it's so true. It really is. So he's such a trash human being, but what did you think of Schwartz and Sandy's finally having their soft opening?
Finally. It looked great. It looked really great.
It does look great.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny that the business partner was talking trash about them at their opening to Lisa Vanderpump. But I think him and Lisa go way back. I think he helped her with all her restaurants, if I'm correct.
Yes.
But I was happy for them. I mean, I just worry. I worry about their bank accounts.
I worry about their bank accounts too. And, you hope it was worth it for Schwartz because it really did seem like this was the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to his marriage with Kody. And I'm sure she has a lot of resentment towards that place. And hopefully down the line he doesn't. But, this really put them at odds. And I think they sunk probably millions and millions of dollars into this place. And I'm sure it'll come out the other side because, they got the name behind it. Let's hope because it's, even the business partner said they literally know nothing about running these places. They just kind of have all these grandiose ideas. And I don't know. I hope it works out.
I was why they didn't take more time between Tom, even though I know they got a small percentage and had very little to do with the grand scheme of things there. But I was wondering why they wouldn't take more time to learn at Tom before just opening up their own. But I think it was a few things. I think they were bitter about the fact that they had such a small percentage of Tom.
Right.
And also you got to strike while the iron's hot. In a few years, they might not be on Bravo. People might care less about them. So
that's very true. Very, very true. Yeah. No, well, see what happens going forward. It's going to be a good season. I really like it so far. It's really, really good. It's going to be great. All right. Well, let's get into our social spotlight of the week. Who caught your attention on social media this week?
Mine goes to Bravo TV posted this. So it's from their official account. It's Jason and Giselle from Potomac looking cozy at the Summer House premiere party.
I guess they're still going strong. I mean, they went on a date a few weeks ago and, she said that it was just fun, casual, and it seems like it still is. So good for her.
I mean, Bravo captioned it Happy Early Valentine's Day. So, I mean, if Bravo's posting that, I think it's real.
I think it's real too. Love to see it. Love to see it. Mine went to Jen Shah because, as we know, she reported to prison on February 17th, and she is serving 6.5 years at a Texas prison. And before she did that, she went and got a tattoo of her husband and her son's names tattooed on her arm. So she is she's ready to go, or she's there. I mean, she's there.
Sad. I feel bad. I feel like she's going to look at it and remember them every day. And, I know I shouldn't feel sad for criminals, but it makes me a little sad.
I mean, it's kind of it's crazy. I mean, she's going to be there for 6.5 years. Her lawyer released a statement saying that she's committed to serving her sentence with courage and purpose, and she's ready to help others and, everybody that she wronged. So it's going to be a long time before we see Jen Shah.
Sure is.
Sure is. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Reality Recap. Let us know whose side are you on? Are you on Carl's side? Are you on Kyle's side in this whole Loverboy drama? And we will check back with you guys next week.
Yeah. Hi.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.